Hey, welcome everyone to another Week 1 battle for the St. Louis VGC Draft League. We have a battle here of the Blue Conference participants, Hyper Beam VGC versus Noodle. I will flip this here because I do have this backwards, so give me one quick second. Perfect, just so it lines up with where you see them on the screen. So Noodle, we see the Skarmory, which I believe is Mega Skarmory, Basculegion, Dragonite, Alolan Raichu, Vaniluxe, and Armarouge up against the Hisuian Goodra, Noivern, Chandelure, which is regular, yes, Mega Glimmora, Mega Charizard Y, and Victreebell. So 2 megas on the side of Hyper Beam, 1 mega on the side of Noodle. So let's see how both these players start off the season. Just looking at the matchup here, obviously Skarmory being the only mega brought on that side, Charizard is a threat. You do have the Armarouge and the Basculegion though, which help. Dragonite's not even too bad into it. So there is some answers there. We do see the leads of Chandelure and the Mega Glimmora versus the Dragonite and Raichu. Alright, so the way Hyper Beam plays this will be very telling if the Charizard's in the back or not. We'll see if this Glimmora chooses the Mega or if he's saving that for the Charizard. Very interesting dynamics here. The Alolan Raichu doesn't really love where it's at. Well, it's threatening the Glimmora, the Chandelure's threatening the Raichu. This can go a bunch of different ways depending on these sets that these Pokemon have. We are seeing the Glimmora Mega on turn 1. So, telling us the Charizard's probably not in the back. And if I had to guess, that means Victreebell's also probably not in the back. We do see a Nuzzle coming out of the Raichu, slowing down the Chandelure. We do just see a Power Gem fired off from the Mega Glimmora into the Dragonite. That looks like it was probably inner focus based on that damage. We are going to see a Scale Shot come out from the Dragonite. And we are going to see the max 5 hits. Defense falls, speed raises. It is not enough to knock out the Glimmora. Shadow Ball comes into the Raichu. That's going to bring it down to its Sash. So we do find out item on Raichu. So some big damage on turn 1, but no knockouts. So we saw Power Gem, we saw the Scale Shot. So very interested to see the rest of this Dragonite set after the Scale Shot. Definitely more threatening here on turn 2 for the side of Noodle with the Speed Boost and the Paralyzed Chandelure. So either Pokemon could take a knockout on Glimmora if they wanted to. Obviously got to be careful of the Spiky Shield. And how are you going to deal with the Chandelure with what you have on the field? Spiky Shield does come out of the Glimmora. We are going to see another Scale Shot, this time into the Chandelure. And will this pick up the knockout? It will. So I believe that was 4 hits needed. Takes out the Chandelure. If this is Nuzzle, I believe that won't be Raichu knocking itself out. It is Thunderbolt, so this won't do the recoil damage to itself from Spiky Shield. So in comes Noivern. This Dragonite has 2 speed boosts, so it is going to find out items. Dragon Fang is the item on the Dragonite, and we already saw the Sash on the Raichu. So you would like to believe a +2 Dragonite probably outspeeds this Noivern. I would assume even if it's Scarf. So very interesting spot here. It just appears on the surface that Noodle's threatening 2 knockouts here. Dragonite can take out the Noivern, Raichu takes out the Glimmora. But this Glimmora is probably brought in for a reason. So, I mean, this Noivern is probably brought in for a reason. So I'm curious if it's Scarf. And if it will outspeed a +2 Dragonite. Glimmora is going to switch, doesn't want to be taken out. In comes the Hisuian Goodra. Skill Shot does just go into Noivern, so it does just outspeed. And it does pick up 3 hits and the knockout. So this Dragonite is causing massive problems. Scale Shot Dragonite is... We saw it in Scarlet and Violet's era. It did run a meta there for a while. So we are seeing why it did just that here. Thunderbolt not doing much to Goodra. Leftovers on the Hisuian Goodra. So hopefully have a way to deal with this Goodra at some point, but big lead here for Noodle. He can kind of wear it down slowly, you would like to believe. We haven't seen either of the back 2 mons for Noodle. These are the final 2 here for Hyper Beam. And this is just going to be a spiky shield, hoping to catch an attack into that spot, specifically probably from the Dragonite, but not falling for it. Is going to Scale Shot the Goodra again. So we're just going to see Scale Shot after Scale Shot here. Another 5 hits coming out from the Scale Shot. And Thunderbolt into the Glimmora, so splitting the damage to make sure that one of the 2 would knock out the Glimmora. They're going to see Dragon Pulse take down the Dragonite, but it's done more than its fair share of damage in this fight. So, at the very least, we'll get to see one of Noodle's back 2 Pokemon. Now, Hisuian Goodra is a super bulky Pokemon. You would like to believe something in the back can deal with it. In comes the Basculegion. So, Noodle should pretty much have this game wrapped up. Both trainers are probably thinking ahead to Game 2 and adjustments they want to make. I'd like to believe we probably see the switch up to the Charizard coming in from Hyper Beam. Here comes the last respects into the Goodra. It is enough to pick up the knockout, even with only 1 stack on it. Glimmora is going to fire off an Energy Ball into the Basculegion. We are going to see that is not enough to knock it out. I believe even with 0 bulk, Basculegion lives that Energy Ball for Mega Glimmora, if I remember correctly. But and another spiky shield. Last respects, I don't believe makes contact though, right? Yeah. It is a physical move, but it does not make contact, so you cannot knock Basculegion out with the spiky shield. I definitely ran Mega Glimmora and tried to do that, and was surprised to learn last respects is not a contact move. So Basculegion will get the final knockout. Noodle is able to hide the 4th mon that he brought and take a 1-0 lead here in the set. So let's update that. Noodle up 1-0. So Hyper Beam's got to find an adjustment. That Dragonite caused massive issues to the team. Got to find a way to stop those Scale Shots from racking up. We'll see if Noodle chooses to switch anything up. That game plan seemed to work very, very well. There are no fairy types on the side of Hyper Beam, so no immunities to that Scale Shot. Yeah, honestly, that Scale Shot, it's gonna cause problems. Dragonite does just look so good here. And I believe we saw it was the Dragon Fang item, powering those attacks up even more. I had a fly on my TV, I had to remove that. So we are going to see Noivern Charizard. This is a better lead into the Dragonite specifically. Obviously Charizard doesn't love seeing that Raichu across from it. And again, Frisk, great ability for closed team sheets. Already knew these two items though, Dragon Fang and the Focus Sash on these two Pokemon. So it is the same lead here from Noodle. I like the switch up here from Hyper Beam. We are going to see Charizard and Mega right away on turn 1 here. Towards the World, maybe Victreebell, but again, that's being threatened by the Raichu. Fake out into the Noivern from the Raichu. Flinches the Noivern. Dragonite is going to set up Tailwind. As Charizard fires off a Heat Wave, which does bring Raichu down to Sash. Tailwind being a very nice play if you thought Noivern could protect. So now, even without the Scale Shot, it does have the speed advantage here. And now actually guarantees your Raichu also has a speed advantage. So again, threatening big damage this turn. We are going to see the Thunderbolt into Charizard. We'll do about 2/3. Scale Shot into the Noivern. We saw this in game 1. This should pick up Knockout as long as it hits at least 3, and it does. So Dragonite should be the fastest thing in this fight the rest of the way. And once again, I don't... Firing off another Heat Wave. I was wrong. That was just... That Power Gem did a ton. That looks like it is a multi-scale based on that Heat Wave damage. So I said in our Focus Game 1, but no, that Power Gem just did more than I thought it would. But Charizard does pick up the Knockout on Raichu. So both players down a Pokemon. But again... It's weird to say there's 2 Pokemon in the field, one of them being Mega Charizard, but I like the positioning of the other Pokemon more. We are going to see the Skarmory make an appearance here. So with the Tailwind, we know it will be safe from the Charizard as long as Charizard gets dealt with this turn. I assume Skarmory should outspeed even the Chlorophyll Victreebell, because there is Tailwind up on that side. Charizard does protect. This could just be a Brave Bird into Victreebell for big damage. Safeguard coming out from the Dragonite, protecting his team from the Sleep Powder. It is Brave Bird into Charizard because now fears the Victreebell a lot less. That is some great tech for week 1 coming out of Noodle. This Victreebell is... I don't want to say useless, but it is not doing what it wants to do now. Cannot Sludge Bomb the Skarmory. You're assuming if it has Grass and Poison moves, really won't be doing a ton to Dragonite. Like I said, can't really do any damage to Skarmory. Noodle is just taking complete control of this game. Great tech coming out with the Safeguard. Charizard will get out of here in favor of the Hisuian Goodra. Dragonite is going to Rain Dance as well. Very interesting. Good tech for countering a Charizard, but I think you kind of already had. I don't know if I think the Rain Dance was necessary. Obviously, with it switching out. Well, I guess it does protect it from the Weather Ball, but it still almost picks up the Skarmory. As we are going to see Life Orb on the Victreebell. So, I was wrong. That Rain Dance does save the Skarmory's life, so good play there. Tailwind has petered out. So now we're in an interesting dynamic. Because with no Tailwind, Charizard could switch back in, get the Sun back up. Then Victreebell will outspeed, but it still can't pick up the... Well, no, it has Weather Ball, so... So this is very interesting. You could predict the Charizard, go for another Rain Dance. Dragonite, I think it's only gotten 1 Scale Shot off this game. So will a +1 Scale Shot? No Charizard switch, so this is just going to be Dragonite moving first. Getting 3 hits with the Scale Shot this time onto the Goodra. Brave Bird is going to finally come out into the Victreebell spot, which will just pick up the knockout. But it is going to take out Skarmory with the recoil. So this game is going to come down to... Oh, and Dragon Pulsing the Dragonite is enough to kill. So now we are going to see the Goodra and Charizard verse whatever is left on the side of Noodle. And if it's that Basculegion again, it's going to be fighting in the sun, which is not where it wants to be. So I thought Noodle controlled this game early on, but Hyper Beam has positioned himself very, very well here in the endgame to deal with this Basculegion. This Charizard is low enough that it would still go down to a water type, to a wave crash coming out from this Basculegion, or liquidation depending on the set. It's probably not liquidation because we saw the Sash on Raichu, so more than likely it'd be wave crash. Charizard does protect itself though. If Noodle called this, they could still be in this game. It is Last Respects, but it is into the Charizard. Shelter coming out from the Goodra. Yeah, I say a water type attack would still take it down, but it doesn't need to be. Last Respects does the same. And we still don't know the speed interaction here between the Basculegion and the Charizard. We don't know the item on the Basculegion. Charizard goes for the double. Seems fairly confident this is a Scarf Basculegion then. Basculegion does pick up the Charizard. What is the Goodra? Okay, alright. So it has 2 Shelter Boost. We saw how much the game 1 Last Respects did with one stack on it. It has 3 stacks now. Safeguard is now gone, but it's pretty irrelevant at this point of the battle. This is very interesting. I don't know what Goodra can do to the Basculegion, though. How are you punishing? Even if you survive a Last Respects, what is the Goodra doing in return? It's just going to be a Protect for this turn. I'm very interested to see if this Basculegion was in fact Scarf. I don't know what else on the team would be. Well, I guess Vaniluxe could be. Last Respect's not doing as much as I thought. It is not going to be a 2-hit KO. Dragon Pulse is also not a 2-hit KO. So this is very, very, very close here. We'll see it Protect on this turn to get more leftovers recovery. Will it get enough from leftovers to survive 2 more Last Respects? That is the question. That's what it needs to do. So I did not look at the exact number the last one did. So let's pay attention on this Last Respects, see exactly how much it does here. This Last Respects does... I already forgot what number it started at. I think it was 56, so I think that did 31. Am I right in that? Basculegion is certainly in range of another Dragon Pulse. I don't remember what percentage the Goodra was at the beginning of that turn. It fell down to 25. If it was 56, then that was exactly 31%. I think, if my memory is right, which my memory is terrible, I think this Goodra should live 1 and win this game. But it's going to come down to this. Will it live another Last Respects at +4 defense? Basculegion has 3 stacks for Last Respects. Here it comes. Goodra does live it, does fire off a Dragon Pulse, and picks up the knockout and sends us to a game 3. Very clutch endgame there from Hyper Beam. Again, I thought Noodle was kind of running away with it early, but positioned himself very, very well to deal with that late Basculegion. And yeah, we're going into game 3. I don't know this for sure, but at least of the games I've seen, this might be the first game 3 of the season. So what switch-ups are we going to see here? We haven't seen the Vaniluxe or the Armarouge out of the side of Noodle. We have seen all 6 from Hyper Beam. So obviously the Charizard mode got him the win. Let's see if he goes back to the Glimmora, which was his game 1 strategy, or if he's going to stick with the Charizard. That lead of Raichu Dragonite has been solid for Noodle, but it couldn't capitalize on it in game 2. Again, that Dragonite looks so threatening, and you just got to hope it does enough before it goes down. Goodra currently being the only thing that's taking it down both games. Seems to be the biggest threat for it. Tried the Skarmory last game. Don't know if that was the 4th mana in game 1 or not, but didn't get a ton of mileage out of the Skarmory. So, multiple ways both these players could go. Like I said, on the side of Noodle, Skarmory didn't do a ton for you. Noivern hasn't looked great on the side of Hyper Beam. Let's see if they give those Pokemon another chance, or if they're going to leave those behind here for game 3. Very intrigued to see how this game 3 starts. What are we going to see on the leads? We're going to see the Sun set up here on the side of Hyper Beam. And we are going to see the same lead for a third game in a row here for Noodle. That Dragonite Raichu that's done well for him. Now here's the thing though, Victreebell should now, excuse me, it's a little late here for me, past my bedtime, but Victreebell should now outspeed both Raichu and Dragonite before Dragonite can move if the Sun is active. So before it can Safeguard or before it can Rain Dance, Victreebell should get a move off. So Victreebell is in a much better spot this game than it was last game. Even knowing the Safeguard and the Rain Dance tech that this Dragonite does have. So we do know that. We do see a fake out into the Victreebell. That is the one way to stop it from moving. Tailwind out Dragonite to solve the chlorophyll problem. And there's going to be a Weather Ball into the Dragonite coming from the Charizard. So a little more damage on the Dragonite than you had in previous games, and that was a crit. So he crit into the Dragonite for some damage, break its multi-scale, in exchange for leaving the Sash on the Raichu this time around. So now Raichu will still take 2 hits to take down. Dragonite's still in an okay position, does have the Tailwind support behind it now. But we do know its only attacking move is that Scale Shot. It has Safeguard, Rain Dance, Tailwind, and Scale Shot. And I do apologize for any yawning, like I said, it is past my bedtime. But we are going to get this game in. Thunderbolt into the Charizard. We have seen this does about 2/3, a little less than 2/3. We are going to see the Safeguard here, trying to shut down the Sleep Powder. Not going for it though, just going to Sludge Bomb into the Dragonite. As we have seen that Life Orb on the Victreebell. If it would have, it is the double up. I was going to say if it would have got the poison, it would have got the knockup, but it is just a double up in Dragonite. So Hyper Beam, seeing what a big threat that Dragonite has been to the team, and it really has been the MVP for Noodle, targeting it hard early to take that thing down. You know it didn't have Protect. You've seen all 4 of its moves. Safe play there to just take down the Dragonite. So now you got to ask yourself, where's the rest of the damage come from Noodle? Previous games, really, the only other damage source has been the Basculegion, which would not look great coming in right now. So it is going to be the Skarmory. So can Skarmory get something done here? On paper, you look like you're in a good spot here. You have Tailwind up, Raichu's threatening the Charizard, Skarmory's threatening the Victreebell, but Hyper Beam has the Pokemon advantage this game, so can switch either one. We don't know what's in the back. Skarmory is going to Mega, so no switches here. Is it just going to be Protect on both? Charizard does Protect. So that means Victreebell probably did not, because I would assume in Sun, Victreebell is faster, which we have already seen on previous turns. So he is going to let Brave Bird take out the Victreebell here. Skarmory will take some recoil from this Brave Bird. So sack that to bring in something freely here. It is going to be the Chandelure. We did not see it in Game 2. We saw it in Game 1, but it didn't get to accomplish as much as it would have wanted. feeling like it's in a bit of a better spot now. To the best of my knowledge, Noodle is not threatening any super effective damage on it. He is still threatening the knockout on the Charizard. Should be threatening a knockout into either Pokemon, whichever one they would want to take here. But really, whichever one you don't, you're probably giving up Skarmory to if you get this wrong. So we are going to see Skarmory just protect instead of taking that risk. Will this be Charizard going for another double protect? Raichu should be taking the knockout here on the Charizard. And what move are we going to see out of the Chandelure? Is it just going to be a Heat Wave to knock down the Raichu to its Sash finally? No, it is Trick Room. So Dushi's Chandelure set up Trick Room. So what's the Pokemon in the back now for Hyper Beam that he is hoping can take advantage of this Trick Room? Is it going to be the Goodra for the third game? It is, in fact, the Goodra. So Hyper Beam really positioning this Goodra again in the late game. It's kind of been his end game ace in the hole. So let's see if it can do enough here. We haven't seen the last mon for Noodle. If he is following his first two games, it will be that Basculegion in the back. Skarmory this time goes for the double. No one's hitting double protects here in this fight. Shelter is being set up by the Goodra. We saw what a problem this was for the Basculegion in the 1v1 in the previous game. So this really needs to deal with this Goodra before it gets too set up. But unfortunately, this Trick Room just puts Noodle in such a bad spot here. If this is Basculegion coming in, and it is the Choice Scarf that we think it is, this game might just be wraps. Basculegion does come in. Now, we haven't seen it from Chandelure, but most Chandelure usually have Energy Ball on it. So this is Energy Ball Dragon Pulse. You would think that would pick up the Basculegion. But if Basculegion is not Scarfing, it protects, and Raichu could take out the Chandelure. But both players have played as if this is a Choice Scarf Basculegion. So if it is, and this is a double up into Basculegion of Energy Ball and Dragon Pulse, Hyper Beam's looking very good here. We are in the end game of Game 3 here. Players taking their time, thinking through their moves. Raichu protects. Shelter. One way around this would be an Aqua Jet lock-in here for the Basculegion. It is Shadow Ball into Basculegion. Well, I was saying Energy Ball. What Basculegion needs to do to get hit by has been all wrong all game. I'm sorry. I'm going to use its late again as a distraction. You don't need Energy Ball. You have Stab. Super effective. And that is going to be a forfeit for Hyper Beam, or for Noodle. Hyper Beam is going to pick up the 2-1 win. Congratulations to them. Good comeback. Like I said, Noodle kind of was in control of that set for the first game and a half, in my opinion. And then Hyper Beam really brought that back. So congrats to him. Hyper Beam is going to improve to 1-0 on the season. First win of the season. Noodle will fall to 0-1. We will see both these players again next week. So make sure you come back and watch those. And check out the rest of the battles as they come out this week for the St. Louis VGC Draft League. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good night.